Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when you must make a decision to walk away, to turn your back and to leave behind what is no longer serving you. It's a hard choice, isn't it, to walk away from something that has held your attention, your energy, and perhaps even your heart. But my friend, there are times when the greatest act of strength, the most courageous thing you can do, is simply to walk away. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've gained understanding, clarity, and most importantly, wisdom. You see, life is full of people who seek to manipulate, to control, and to tear others down in the pursuit of their own desires. They may try to use your kindness, your patience, your love, but you must understand this. You were never meant to be a doormat, never meant to be someone else's punching bag. You are a child of God, made in His image with a divine purpose, and you must protect that purpose. The power of walking away is not about vengeance. It's not about getting even or proving a point. It is about claiming your peace and restoring your soul. It's about saying enough is enough, and refusing to allow anyone or anything to steal your joy, your dignity, or your sense of self-worth. When you make the decision to walk away, you are taking control of your life once again, reminding yourself that no one, no matter how powerful or persuasive they may seem, has the right to diminish your value. But let me tell you something, my friend. Walking away is not always easy. It may feel like you are abandoning something that you once believed in, something that once gave you hope. But listen closely. God's plan for you is far greater than the chains that bind you to a toxic situation. Your future is not defined by those who try to break you. It is defined by the one who created you and has already mapped out your destiny. When you choose to walk away, you are declaring that you believe in something greater than the lies and the manipulation that may have surrounded you. You are declaring that you trust God's plan for your life, even if you don't fully understand it at the moment. You are standing firm in your faith, in the belief that you are worthy of love, respect, and peace. So I urge you today, if you find yourself in a situation where you are constantly belittled, manipulated, or taken advantage of, do not be afraid to walk away. Do not be afraid to let go of the things or the people that are destroying your peace. Remember, your worth is not defined by anyone else's perception of you. You were made for so much more. When you walk away, you are stepping into a future of freedom. You are choosing to walk in the light of God's grace, to walk in the path of righteousness, and to walk towards a life where you can truly thrive. It is time to step away from the shadows, from the darkness, and walk into the fullness of the life God has prepared for you. The decision is yours. Will you take it? Will you walk away and reclaim the peace, the joy, and the purpose that you are meant to have? There are moments in life when we face a tough decision, one that tests our resolve and demands courage. The decision to walk away is often one of the most challenging choices we have to make, especially when the situation we are walking away from has been a part of our lives for so long. It can be a relationship, a job, a community, or even a pattern of behavior. It's something that feels familiar, something that we've invested time and energy into. Yet there comes a point when walking away becomes the most powerful thing we can do for ourselves. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness, as many might believe. No, it's a testament to your strength and your ability to recognize when something no longer serves your well-being. It requires great courage to let go of what we know, even when it's not healthy for us. People often believe that sticking it out, enduring the pain, and trying harder will eventually lead to something better. But sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is acknowledge that it's time to walk away. Think about it. When you walk away, you are taking back control. You are choosing to no longer allow external forces to dictate the course of your life. You are setting a boundary and saying, "This is where I draw the line." That's not an easy thing to do, especially when we've grown accustomed to certain dynamics, whether they are toxic or draining. It's so tempting to stay in situations where we hope things will improve, but we must come to the understanding that not all situations are meant to be salvaged. Some things are better left behind. The strength lies in knowing when to walk away, in having the wisdom to understand that your peace, your emotional health, and your sense of self-worth are more important than anything you are clinging to. What makes walking away an act of strength is the realization that by doing so, you are choosing yourself. You are choosing to preserve your mental and emotional well-being, even if it means leaving behind what once seemed important. Many of us have experienced the draining effects of staying in situations that make us feel less than who we are. We've allowed ourselves to be manipulated or disrespected, thinking we could handle it, thinking that we could change the other person or the situation. But the truth is, we can't change anyone but ourselves. When you choose to walk away, you are not giving up on everything you've worked for. Rather, you are making a conscious decision to protect the most precious thing you have, your peace. Walking away is about respecting yourself enough to know that you deserve more than what you're being given. It's about saying, "I will no longer accept behavior or circumstances that rob me of my joy, my peace, and my purpose." We often hear the phrase, "Don't give up," but sometimes walking away isn't about giving up. It's about taking a step forward. It's about stepping into a life that honors who you are and the potential that you hold. Walking away may feel like you are losing something, but in reality, you are gaining so much more. You're gaining freedom from toxic influences. You're gaining the opportunity to step into a space where you can grow, heal, and ultimately thrive. When you walk away from a situation, you are not admitting defeat. You are choosing victory. You are choosing to move forward with the clarity that comes from understanding what truly matters in your life. The strength to walk away comes from an inner resolve, a deep understanding that your worth is not determined by the people or situations around you. It is determined by the Creator who made you and knows your heart. You are worthy of peace, respect, and love. And when you walk away, you are embracing that truth and refusing to settle for anything less. So understand this today. Walking away isn't weakness. It's an act of empowerment. It's a way of reclaiming your life, your happiness, and your peace. And it's one of the greatest acts of strength you can perform, because in walking away, you are saying, "I choose myself. I choose to honor who I am, and I choose to walk toward a brighter, more fulfilling future." When we find ourselves in toxic situations or relationships, it's easy to lose sight of our self-worth. Over time, we may begin to question who we are, how much we matter, and whether we deserve better. The weight of manipulation, disrespect, and emotional harm can wear us down until we no longer recognize the person we once were. But here's the truth. Your worth is not defined by how others treat you, and it's certainly not defined by the circumstances you find yourself in. Your worth is intrinsic. It is given to you by your Creator, and no one has the power to diminish that unless you allow them to. Walking away from a toxic environment or a destructive relationship is a powerful declaration of self-worth. It's a reminder to yourself that you are deserving of love, respect, and peace. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, "I will no longer allow myself to be treated in a way that undermines my value." It is one of the most profound and loving things you can do for yourself, to protect your mind, your heart, and your spirit from the harm that others may try to impose upon you. When you stay in a situation where your self-worth is constantly questioned or diminished, you are giving away pieces of who you are. It's like allowing someone else to dictate the terms of your happiness, your peace, and your emotional well-being. The longer you remain in a toxic environment, the more your sense of self can erode, and over time, you may find yourself questioning if you even deserve better. The truth is, you absolutely do. You are not meant to be in a relationship or environment that drains you, belittles you, or makes you feel insignificant. Choosing to walk away is an act of self-respect. It's acknowledging that your needs matter, that your emotional and mental health are vital, and that you deserve to be treated with kindness and dignity. When you walk away, you are choosing to protect your sense of self, to preserve the part of you that remains strong, resilient, and capable of achieving great things. This act of walking away is not about rejection of others, but rather it is an embrace of who you are and all that you are capable of becoming. Often we find it difficult to walk away because we feel a deep sense of obligation or guilt. We may feel responsible for the other person's happiness or think that we are the ones who need to fix things. But in reality, you cannot fix someone else. You cannot change their behavior or force them to see your worth. The only person you can change is yourself. And sometimes the best way to do that is by walking away from the situation that is causing you harm. By walking away, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of better. You are telling yourself that you do not need to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Walking away does not mean you are abandoning someone. It means you are choosing to prioritize your emotional and mental health. It's not about rejecting the other person. It's about embracing yourself and taking a stand for your own well-being. When you walk away, you are choosing to surround yourself with people and situations that uplift you, that encourage you, and that recognize your worth. You are giving yourself the opportunity to heal, to grow, and to thrive in an environment that fosters your personal development and emotional health. By doing so, you are creating space for new opportunities, new relationships, and a better future. This decision to walk away is a recognition that you are valuable and that your peace and well-being are more important than clinging to unhealthy attachments. It's a message to yourself that you will no longer allow anyone to make you feel less than you are. It's a declaration that you are deserving of love, of respect, and of a life filled with peace. Walking away is not a sign of defeat. It's a powerful acknowledgement of your value and your right to live a life free from negativity and harm. It's the courage to stand up for yourself, to say, I am worthy of better, and to step into a future where you can thrive and be the best version of yourself. In choosing yourself, you are choosing to honor your true worth, and that is the most important thing you can do. There are times in life when we find ourselves stuck in situations where we are being manipulated, controlled, or taken advantage of. These situations often come in the form of toxic relationships or environments that drain us emotionally, mentally, and even physically. While it may be difficult to recognize at first, the subtle manipulation and control can gradually erode our sense of self, leaving us feeling powerless and unsure of where to turn. We might try to rationalize it, thinking we can change things or that things will improve with time, but one thing becomes clear: these situations are not going to get better on their own, and the longer we stay, the more we lose ourselves in the process. The power of walking away lies in your ability to break free from this cycle of manipulation. It is an act of liberation, a choice to free yourself from the harmful influence of someone or something that seeks to control or diminish you. It is the act of reclaiming your autonomy, your decision-making power, and your peace of mind. Walking away does not mean that you are giving up, nor does it mean that you are leaving behind everything that once mattered. Instead, it is a conscious decision to take control of your life again, to stop allowing others to dictate how you feel, how you live, and how you see yourself. It can be easy to stay in a situation where someone else is pulling the strings, especially when they disguise their manipulation with charm, love, or promises of change. But deep down, we know that we deserve more than what we're being given. The control may not always be overt, But it could show up in small, subtle ways: emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping, or constant criticism. Over time, this kind of behavior takes a toll, causing us to second-guess ourselves and doubt our worth. We start to question if it's our fault, if we're the ones to blame for the dysfunction, and whether we even deserve happiness and peace. Walking away from these situations is an act of power because it means that you refuse to let anyone else dictate your emotional reality. It means you are willing to stand up for yourself, to protect your boundaries, and to say no to the behavior that has been tearing you down. The ability to walk away is the ability to recognize that you are not responsible for someone else's actions, and that their manipulation or toxic behavior is a reflection of them, not of you. It's an acknowledgement that you cannot change the other person, and no matter how much you care for them or want things to work out, you cannot fix what is fundamentally broken. When you choose to walk away, you are also choosing to stop accepting the lies that have been fed to you. You are no longer willing to believe that you are not enough, or that you are somehow unworthy of respect and kindness. Walking away is the ultimate act of self-preservation because it allows you to protect your peace and your sense of self from further harm. It is in this decision to walk away that you reclaim your own voice, your own power, and your ability to move forward without the weight of someone else's manipulation on your shoulders. Walking away from manipulation is not a sign of weakness or cowardice. Rather, it is an act of courage and strength. It takes an immense amount of bravery to acknowledge that something isn't right and to take the necessary steps to remove yourself from the situation. It is often easier to stay in the familiar, even if it's unhealthy, than it is to walk away into the unknown. But here's the truth: staying in a toxic situation only perpetuates the cycle of manipulation and control. Walking away opens up the possibility for healing, growth, and freedom. By leaving, you are not only freeing yourself, but also opening the door to new possibilities, new relationships, and a future where you are no longer controlled by someone else's needs or desires. You are choosing to surround yourself with people who value you for who you truly are, who will lift you up rather than tear you down. You are creating space for yourself to flourish, to rediscover your passions, and to reclaim the strength that you may have lost in the midst of manipulation. Remember, walking away from manipulation is not a failure. It is a victory. It is a victory over the power someone else had over you, and a victory in choosing to live your life on your terms. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow someone else to define your worth, control your actions, or dictate your emotional state. By walking away, you are taking back the power that is rightfully yours, and you are choosing a future where you are free from the burden of manipulation. There comes a time in every person's life when they must choose to walk away, not out of defeat, but out of faith. Faith in something greater than the immediate situation. Faith in a future that may seem uncertain, but trust that God has a plan for your life that surpasses anything you could possibly understand at the moment. When you choose to walk away, you are making a powerful statement of trust in God's purpose for you. It is an act of surrendering your will and stepping into the assurance that God's timing, His plan, and His guidance are far more reliable than your own limited vision of the world. It's not easy, is it, to walk away from something or someone you've invested in, from something that has become a part of your daily life. It's not easy to step into the unknown when you can't see what lies ahead. But that's where faith comes in. Faith is the belief that even when we cannot see the way, God is leading us. Even when we don't understand the road ahead, we trust that God does, and that He is walking with us every step of the way. To walk away in faith is to trust that what God has in store for you is far better than what you are leaving behind. When you walk away, you might not have all the answers. You might not have a clear picture of what comes next. But you know that by leaving behind what is no longer serving you, you are making space for God to work in your life. You are choosing to walk in the path that God has set before you, even if that path is difficult or unclear in the moment. Walking away is not an act of abandoning hope. Rather, it is an act of believing that God has something better planned for you. It's trusting that His purpose for your life is more than your current circumstances, more than the present pain, and more than the uncertainty that you may feel. Walking away in faith is an exercise in obedience. It's saying, God, I may not understand why this is happening, but I trust you. It's an act of letting go of control and surrendering to a higher power. We often want to control everything, our relationships, our careers, and our circumstances. But sometimes the most faithful thing we can do is let go and trust that God is in control. When you walk away from something that no longer aligns with God's plan for your life, you are choosing to trust that He knows better than you do. You are choosing to lean on His understanding, even when it's hard to see the bigger picture. It can be incredibly difficult to walk away from what we know, to leave behind the familiar, the comfortable, and the safe. But what if the familiar is holding you back from experiencing the fullness of what God has for you? What if the things you're holding on to are preventing you from stepping into the purpose and calling God has placed on your life? Walking away is a courageous decision, but it's also an act of faith that God will guide you into something better, something that aligns with His will and will bring you peace, fulfillment, and purpose. Walking away is also about embracing the idea that God's timing is perfect. His plan for your life isn't always on the timeline we expect, and it doesn't always unfold the way we want it to. But we can trust that He sees the beginning and the end, and He knows what's best for us. Sometimes, the only way to move forward is by stepping away from what's behind us. It's by walking away from situations or people that are holding us back, and trusting that God will guide our steps towards something better. When we choose to walk away in faith, we are choosing to take the first step in a journey of growth, healing, and renewal. We are choosing to believe that God is faithful to His promises, that He will never leave us or forsake us, and that He will lead us to the place where we belong. It may be a hard decision to make, but it is a decision that will ultimately bring you closer to God's will for your life and closer to the person He has created you to be. Walking away is not an end. It is a beginning. It is the start of a new chapter where God is in control, and He is guiding you toward a future filled with hope, peace, and purpose. The decision to walk away is not just about leaving something behind. It's about stepping into something new. Often we view walking away as an ending, a loss, or a retreat, but it is in fact a doorway to a new beginning. It is about creating space in your life for the things that truly matter, things that align with your values, your passions, and your purpose. When we choose to walk away from toxic situations or unhealthy relationships, we are choosing to move toward a life that is more fulfilling, peaceful, and aligned with who we are meant to be. It's easy to become entangled in the comfort of the familiar, even when it isn't serving us well. We find ourselves in situations that no longer bring us joy, peace, or growth, yet we stay because it feels easier to remain in what we know than to face the uncertainty of change. But when you choose to walk away from something negative, you are walking toward a future that holds more promise. You are making a conscious decision to leave behind the emotional baggage, the dysfunction, and the habits that have held you captive, so that you can move into a space where you can thrive. One of the most powerful things about walking away is that it forces you to create room for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences. Sometimes we cling to what is familiar because we are afraid that we won't find anything better. But God has so much more in store for us. When we let go of the things that no longer serve us, we open ourselves up to the endless possibilities that are waiting for us. By walking away, we are saying, I trust that what is ahead is better than what is behind. And that belief allows us to move forward with courage and hope. In walking away, you are also choosing peace. How often have we stayed in situations out of obligation or fear that have drained us emotionally and mentally? How often have we allowed others' negativity, criticism, or expectations to weigh us down? Walking away from those situations is an act of self-care and self-preservation. It is a way of taking back your peace, your energy, and your joy. You are choosing to live in an environment that nurtures your growth, your well-being, and your happiness. Peace is not something you find by staying in a place that causes you turmoil. It is something you cultivate by stepping into a space where you can truly be yourself. Moreover, walking away opens the door to purpose. When you remove yourself from environments that do not align with your true calling, you create the opportunity to find and pursue your purpose with greater clarity. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to make something work, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a particular life circumstance, that we forget to ask ourselves if it is truly in line with who we are meant to be. Walking away is not about abandoning your dreams. It is about giving yourself permission to pursue them without the distractions of negativity and dysfunction. It is about making room for the things that will help you grow and become the person you are truly meant to be. Walking away also means embracing the idea of self-worth. The longer we stay in situations that are harmful or draining, the more we may start to question our value. We might tell ourselves that we don't deserve better or that we have to accept what we are given. But walking away is a reminder that you are worthy of respect, love, and peace. It is an acknowledgement that you do not have to settle for anything less than what you deserve. The moment you decide to walk away is the moment you declare that your worth is not determined by others' behavior or by your current circumstances. Your worth is inherent, and you are worthy of a life that reflects that. Choosing to walk away is also an act of hope. It is an act of believing that there is something better on the other side, even when you cannot yet see it. It takes faith to leave behind what you know in pursuit of something greater. But it's important to remember that God's plan for your life is greater than what you can imagine. When you walk away from what is no longer serving you, you are making space for God to work in your life and lead you to something new. It is a declaration that you believe in the goodness of what is to come, even if the path is not entirely clear. In the end, walking away is not about running from difficulty or avoiding the hard work of healing and growth. It is about making the brave decision to put yourself first, to protect your peace, and to create the life that you truly deserve. It's about taking ownership of your future, knowing that when you let go of what is no longer serving you, you open the door to something far greater than you could have ever imagined. In the journey of life, there will always be moments where we face the difficult yet empowering choice to walk away. It's not about weakness. It's about courage. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing yourself. When you walk away from what no longer serves you, from toxic relationships, negative influences, or situations that diminish your self-worth, you are walking toward the future God has promised, a future filled with peace, purpose, and the abundant life He intends for you. Walking away is an act of faith, a testament to your belief that better is ahead and that your value is not defined by what you leave behind, but by who you are becoming. Remember, sometimes you must release what is holding you back to make room for the blessings and opportunities that await you. Trust that by walking away, you are not losing anything of true value. You are gaining freedom, growth, and peace. Your strength comes from knowing that God's plan is far greater than any of the struggles you may face along the way. The future holds endless possibilities, and in choosing to walk away from the things that hold you back, you are choosing to walk toward all that you are meant to be.